सर्वमातितार्थसाधिका मह्यमात्मपादपद्मदासदासुराधिका गौरविन्दकान्तिनिन्दिचित्रपट्टशाटिका कृष्णमत्तभृङ्गकेलिफुल्लपुष्पवाटिका कृष्णनित्यसङ्गमात्तपद्मबन्धुराधिका मह्यमात्मपादपद्मदासदासुराधिका कुमार्यसृष्टपल्लवालिकीर्तिनिग्रहा चन्द्रचन्दनोत्पलेन्दुसेव्यशीतविग्रहा स्वाभिमर्शवल्लभीशकामतापबाधिका मह्यमात्मपादपद्मदासदासुराधिका पुष्पवन्द्ययोवताभिवन्दिता प्रिया रमा रूपनव्ययवनादिसम्पदानयत्समा शीलहार्दलीलया च सायतोऽस्तिनाधिका मह्यमात्मपादपद्मदासदासुराधिका लास्यगीतनर्मसत्कलालिपण्डिता प्रेमरम्यरूपवेशसद्गुणालिमण्डिता ईश्वराय गोपयोषिदादितोऽस्तिनाधिका मह्यमात्मपादपद्मदासदासुराधिका नित्यनव्यरूपकेलि कृष्णभावसम्पदा कृष्णरागबन्धगोपयौवतेषु सम्पदा कृष्णरूपवेशकेलिलग्नसत्समाधिका मह्यमात्मपादपद्मदासदासुराधिका वेदकम्पकण्टकाश्रुगद्गदादिसञ्चिता मर्षहस्रवामतादिभावभूषणाङ्किता कृष्णरेतकोशिरत्नमण्डलानिधाधिका मध्यमात्मपादपद्मदास्यदास्तु राधिका क्षणार्ध कृष्ण विप्रयोग संततोदिता या क्षणार्ध मेकदैन्य कापलादि भाव वृंद मोदिता यत्नलब्ध कृष्ण संग निर्गदालिका निर्गराकिलादिका मध्यमात्मपादपद्मदास्यदास्तु राधिका अच्चकेन यत्तनेन नन्ति कृष्णवल्लभा दर्शनेऽपि शैलजादियोषिराणि दुर्लभा कृष्णसाङ्गनन्दितात्मदास्य सीधुभाजनम् करोति नन्दितालि सञ्चयातु साधनम् हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम। श्री श्री राधिकाष्टमी की जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी नंदन व्रज नंदन यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्वन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। वन्दे श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यनित्यानन्दसहोदितौ गौडोदये पुष्पवन्तौ चित्रं शंदौ तमोनुदौ आजानुलम्बितभुजौ कनकावधातौ सङ्कीर्तनैकपितरौ कमलायताक्षौ विश्वम्भरौ द्विजवरौ युगधर्मपालौ वन्दे जगत्प्रियकरौ करुणावतारौ। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। एवरीबॉडी टुगेदर। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। Welcome all of you. Thank you for taking out your valuable time on a weekday and coming. Today we are going to discuss about the Bhishma Stuti. See, Bhishma's character is very, very special because you will see that even though he was living in the midst of, he was living in the midst of Asatsabha, of Kauravas, you find Bhishma never got, discouraged by the bad association all around, isn't it? I'm just trying to get one picture to show you. This is the one. You see, something special about the lotus you will see here. The lotus is called as Pankaja. Ja means born, Panka means mud. It's born in the mud, just like Prahlad was born in a demoniac family. But he was not a demon, although he was born from Hiranyakashipu. Similarly, pure devotees, even though they may be surrounded by muddy pool of water like environment or ambience, they don't get stooped in that mud. Rather, they emerge out like lotus, like you see here. That's one characteristic of the lotus. It doesn't remain stuck in the mud. Have you ever seen a lotus going back into mud and saying, sorry, I was born in the mud, so I am very muddy? You hear that ever? No, it always comes out. You will see that. Similarly, pure devotees don't blame their birth. Daushkulyamadim vidunoti shigram. Like that, Sutta Goswami says, yes, it's true. I was born in a Pratiloma marriage to Roma Harshana Sutta. He says it's a family lineage is not very good. But that impurity arising from my family lineage has been cleansed by Shukadeva Goswami's association, he says. Daushkulyamadim vidhunoti shigram. Very quickly it was washed away by my good association. In the same manner, lotus, what does it do? Initially it is a bud. When it comes out of water, it associates with the sun. So the lotus is called as, Aravinda Bandhu. The Yamuna is called as Aravinda Bandhu Nandini, isn't it? She is called as Aravinda Bandhu is the friend of lotus is sun, and Surya Putri is Yamuna. Yamuna Devi. So, by making friendship with the sun, what happens to lotus? It blossoms. When it blossoms fully, then it lets out fragrance in the environment. Also, it makes the honey accessible to the bumblebees also. Similarly, pure devotees, the sun is compared to Krishna. By associating with Krishna, their honey-like qualities come out, their fragrance or their fame of the devotee becomes naturally observable by all. So, this is another second characteristic of lotus. It doesn't get stooped in the mud, it makes friendship with the sun. Thirdly, neither the lotus petals nor the lotus leaf touches the water. Have you seen that? Krishna uses this analogy. Padma patram ivambasa, he says. What is the famous verse? Brahmanyadaya karmani sankam tyatva karoti yaha lepyate nasa papena padma patram ivambasa. He is saying, like a lotus leaf has some wax kind of substance. You put a drop of water, it will just fall off. Similarly, the pure devotees, while remaining in this world, they remain always detached from bad association. Bhishma was living in the midst of a bad court, surrounded by Dushta Chatushtayam, it is said, 4 Dushtas. Who are they? Shakuni, Duryodhana, Dushasana, Karna. They are called as 4 Dushtas. So, surrounded by such people, he was completely unaffected like the lotus leaf or a lotus petal. So, you all can remember these 3 characteristics of the lotus. You see, it rises above the surface, faces the sun, and remains unsullied. Similarly, this is the point, as you see here. See, Grihastha life comes with family karma, financial stress, emotional tensions, and complex duties. These are comparable to mud. Agreed, isn't it? These complexities are all around us, especially in family life. But just as the lotus uses the mud to grow, the devotee can transform domestic circumstances into spiritual strength. I heard a story of once a donkey, due to the heat of the sun, it got a sunstroke, it fell down to the ground, unconscious. But some people thought it is dead. So they dug a hole and put the donkey inside and started throwing sand. Dozens of people started throwing sand. The donkey was shocked, "Hare, I am not dead. They are putting me, they are going to bury me." But using the sand that was put inside, he climbed up, and he jumped outside. Similarly, the world can throw mud-like problems on you. You can use the mud to come out. Like lotus comes out. And the donkey came. But in the same manner, one can come out. Just as lotus uses the mud to grow, a devotee can transform domestic circumstances into spiritual strength. You see? You can use household challenges to build the tolerance and humility. So, similarly, Bhishma is a very special character for all of us in that sense. Because I'm sure many of you sitting here, you may be always eager to know, we cannot run away from this world. We have to live in the midst of this world. You cannot isolate yourself from society and go to Himalayas, can we? We cannot. But how to insulate ourselves from bad association? That we should learn from Bhishma. Bhishma was completely unaffected. Just like if any ISKCON devotee goes to a marketplace to purchase some flowers for making garland for the deity, you may have to enter a lane. On either side of the lane you find liquor shops or some roasted geese hanging, hot dogs hanging. You don't care a fig about it. You just go straight in the lane towards the end, purchase flowers and you go back. Although they all exist on either side, they are of no consequence to you. Like that he lived, Bhishma, in the court. So here you are seeing Bhishma's picture when he is lying in the arrow bed. You know, Krishna brought all the Pandavas nicely dressed in costly garments and in golden chariot. Pandavas are simply like puppets in Krishna's hand. Krishna told them that we are going to go and meet Pitama, Bhishma. So all of you dress yourself very nicely as if you are going to take the rule of the world immediately. The war wasn't over yet fully. But Krishna was confident of the outcome of the war. Only a few days were left. Krishna said, nevertheless, you all can come well dressed, because Krishna always contemplates on the happiness of his devotees. Because Bhishma had a soft corner for the Pandavas and he is about to leave the body now. So Krishna wanted to give pleasure to his heart so that he can see the Pandavas flourishing in their life and happily he can leave the body. That was Krishna's intention. Actually, Krishna's every action is supported by an intention, and the intention is a pure intention always. He wants to please his devotees, all type of devotees. So, another reason why Krishna made this episode of Pandavas meeting Bhishma, he thought Bhishma is a very great Kshatriya king. Kshatriya, in the entire dynasty, he was the eldest, most mature in the Kaurava dynasty, oldest also. Now that he is going to leave the body, there should be a Keti to Yudhisthira. Otherwise, valuable knowledge will be lost. So he made this exchange possible. He made Yudhisthira come to meet Bhishma, and his invaluable knowledge, like for example, Stri Dharma, Varna Dharma, Ashrama Dharma, Raja Dharma, all the different dharmas were spoken by Bhishma. And Yudhisthira heard it all patiently. There is so much in Shanti Parva, you will hear Bhishma is giving such wonderful advice to Yudhisthira. It is so practical and helpful even in contemporary times. Recently I was reading one chapter from Mahabharata. Bhishma is telling Yudhisthira how to choose your head of some department. If any of you are given the task of choosing some leaders for any service, how would you choose? So Bhishma says 5 qualities. He says, I see Hachodi, he says. You should have intelligence in that particular department. You should be a person of character. You should not mishandle money. You should be thoroughly honest. Transparency should be there. You should be trustworthy. And you should be obedient to the person who is appointing him. Not that he overthrows the authority and then he wants to sit or whatever. And then D is dutiful. Dutiful means responsible. Dependable and responsible and dutiful. So he's saying 5 qualities. If you see, you can choose for any department you want to choose a leader. These are the qualities, he says. So, in this way, there are many valuable teachings Bhishma was giving. But at the end, Bhishma got very tired. He said, enough Yudhisthira now. I have spoken a lot of worldly subjects now. He said, now let me just become peacefully situated and meditate on the Supreme Lord Krishna. I am going to leave the body in a few minutes. He was such a great personality that he could leave the body at will, as per his choice. Ichamrityu he had. So, when he wanted to meditate on Lord's lotus feet and leave the body, at that time Yudhishthira Maharaj said, one last question I want to ask you. Now I will not ask any more question. He said, okay, tell me quickly, what's your question? Instead of one question, he asked 4 questions. Sometimes in ISKCON also devotees do that. Can I ask one small question? They will say, and this, and this, and that, and this, and this also. 5 questions in one. One time I also asked similar questions to my spiritual master. And then my Guru Maharaj asked, is it your comment or is it a question? We have put too many things in one shot. So what did Yudhisthira ask? You know that? Kimekam daivatam loke kim vapekam parayanam stuvanta kam kamarchanta prapnu yurmanava shubham ko dharma sarva dharmanam bhavatah paramo matah kim japan muchyate jantur janma samsara bandhanat. Is asking, Kim ekam daivatam loke, tell me the name of one supreme personality of Godhead amongst the 33 crore devatas. Who is that one supreme person I should worship? Parayanam, I should worship, he asked. Then he asked, Stuvanta kam means whose stuti should I sing? Kam archanta, whose archana should I do? By doing which, prapnu yurmana vashubham, I can attain auspiciousness in my life. Who is the person who is worthy of worship? Like that he is asking. Worthy of praise, worthy of worship. Third question he asked, Ko dharma sarva dharmanam bhavatah paramo matah. There are many dharmas you spoke till now. Amongst all the dharmas, which is the topmost dharma? Please tell me that, he asked. And then finally he asked, Kim japan muchyate jantur janma samsara bandhanat. What name should the conditioned souls in this world, jantu, they should chant, by chanting which they will be liberated from this material existence of all sufferings, they will go back home, back to Godhead. When Bhishma heard these questions, he was so thrilled. He said, Yudhishthira, such brilliant questions you have asked. Now all my tiredness is gone now, he said. Now I can speak hours and hours now, he said. In fact, at that time, Bhishma was lying in an arrow bed, as you see in the picture. You can imagine, if there is one small needle pricking your back or a small thorn pricking your feet, you will see all our attention goes there. Whereas here he was being pricked by hundreds of arrows behind his back because he was lying on the arrow bed and the body is oozing out blood also. But Bhishma did not mind it. He didn't feel he didn't mind that pain. He was so super enthusiastic in glorifying the Lord after that. So this is what Prahalad, Dhruva, they all say this. Tvad-virya gayana mahamrta magna chitta. My chitta is magna in your virya katha, like the Prahalad is saying. Therefore I don't feel the pain, he says. Same thing Dhruva also says. Neshye bhavad gunakatham vritapana mattaha. My buddhi or my man is matta in your Krishna katha, like that is saying. So he also became intoxicated in glories of the Lord. And then he began to speak, which some of you might have heard that in the Vishnu Sahasranama Stotram, isn't it? Jagat Prabhum Deva Devam Anantam Purushottamam Stuvan Nama Sahasrena Purushas Satatotitaha Tameva Charchayan Nityam Bhaktya Purusham Abhyayam Dhyayan Stuvan Namasyamsta Yajamanas Tamevacha Anadinidanam Vishnum Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Lokadhyaksham Stuvan Nityam Sarva Dukha Divo Bhavet Brahmanyam Sarvadharmajnam Lokanam Kirtivardhanam Lokanatham Mahadbhutam. In this way, you will see that Jagat Prabhum Devadevam is saying is the Lord of all Lords, is the Lord of millions of universes. And He alone should be worshipped. Like that he said. And that Supreme Lord is right now sitting in front of me. And he has come to give darshan to me. I am very grateful to him. Like that he will say. So, this is a very special thing because these questions were asked by a great soul, Dharmaraj Yudhisthira. They were answered by another great soul, Bhishma Pitama. And his 1,000 names of Vishnu spoken by Bhishma was heard by the Supreme Lord, Purna Purushottam Krishna himself, sitting in front of him. So this is not an ordinary dialogue. It's extraordinary in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So how this whole episode started, after the war was over, Yudhisthira Maharaj was lamenting. See, one fellow lamented before the war, another fellow lamented after the war. Who lamented before? Who lamented before the war? Arjuna. And the result of his lamentation is what came out? Bhagavad Gita came out. Now, after the war, who lamented? Yudhisthira. And what came out? Vishnu Sahasranam came out. That means when great souls lament, something wonderful comes out. Correct, no? Veda Vyas lamented, Srimad Bhagavatam came out. Devahuti lamented, Kapila Siksha came out. You will see that. When great souls lamentation is not like ordinary souls lamentation. So, even Dhruva Maharaj's lamentation brings out amazing lessons for all of us to go from a materialistic devotion to pure devotion. You can see that. So, in this way, Yudhishthira was lamenting. There is a famous verse here. Yasadyair Ishware Hagyaihi. It's coming? Yeah, repeat it. Krishnena adbhuta karmana prabodhito itihasair nabudyata shucharpitaha. See, Yudhishthira was very aggrieved and he couldn't be convinced even though Veda Vyas instructed him. Many other sages instructed him. Even Krishna himself instructed him. No. But still he was not convinced. Now somebody may ask a question. Veda Vyas is all right, other sages are all right, but even Krishna couldn't convince him. Krishna is God himself. So why is that not weakness of Krishna that he couldn't pacify Yudhishthira, he may ask. Therefore this purport is important. It's a very important purport. 1:8:36 purport, yeah.
Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 1, Canto 1, chapter 8, verse 36, perfect.
I think it will be 37, it's not 36, I think. Either 35 or 37, it was mostly 37. Yeah, 36, I know what is it's another one. Yeah, yes.
This masquerade simply to enthrone Maharaj Yudhisthira was too mortifying. So he tried to be convinced with evidences from histories by great sages like Vyasa, the Lord himself, that the fight was just because the cause was just. But Maharaj Yudhisthira could not be satisfied, even though he was instructed by great personalities of the time.
Yeah, you see, although 60 crore warriors died in the battle, but all of them went back to Godhead. Hataha gataha swarupam. Bhagavatam says that. As soon as because they were looking at Krishna while leaving the body, and the arrows were sent by Arjuna, which was actually sent on the order of whom? Krishna. So, therefore the arrows took away their sinful reactions. Krishna says, Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. Like a hot frying pan, you sprinkle some water, what happens? Like that it absorbs, no? Like that, all the sinful reactions were absorbed by the arrows. So the soldiers became free from sinful reactions on one hand, on the other hand they were looking at Krishna. So what else can happen to them? They all hataha gataha swarupam. They attained the swarupa, it is said. There is another verse also which says that Tataiva chanye naraloka vira yahagave Krishna mukara vindam Netra pibanto nayana viramam Parthastra padam apurasya. That's also another verse. Parthastra padam apurasya. They all attained the param padam. So, There's nothing to lament after the battle. It is only due to Yudhishthira's goodness and greatness and humility and due to his tender heart that he was feeling such lamentation. And here, read further, Krishna is designated here.
Krishna is designated herein as a performer of superhuman actions. But in this particular instance, neither he nor Vyas could convince King Yudhishthira. Does it mean that he failed to be a superhuman actor? No, certainly not. The interpretation is that the Lord as Ishvara, with the super soul in the hearts of both King Yudhishthira and Vyasa, performed still more superhuman action because the Lord desired it. As super soul of King Yudhishthira, he did not allow the king to be convinced by the words of Vyasa and others, including himself, because he desired that the king hear instructions from the dying Bhishma, who was another great devotee of the Lord. The Lord wanted that at the last stage of his material existence, the great warrior Bhishma Deva see him personally and see his beloved and beloved grandchildren, King Yudhishthira, etc., now situated on the throne and thus pass away very peacefully.
Yeah. Outside Krishna was trying to convince him, but inside Krishna was telling him not to get convinced. Who is inside Krishna? The super soul. This is Krishna's Adbhuta Karma. Because Krishna told Yudhishthira internally, don't get convinced by Vyasa, don't get convinced by Krishna also. Why? Because Krishna inspired him internally to go to Bhishma Pitama and meet him. That was Krishna's plan. Because if Yudhishthira becomes convinced by Krishna, this episode would not have happened. Vishnu Sahasranam would not have come out. Therefore, Krishna planned a trick like that. Here all the Pandavas have come together to meet Bhishma. And Krishna is in the middle of all of them. So, at that time, Bhishma told the Pandavas, in one of the verses he says, Yanmatulayam, he says, do not think this personality who is standing in front of me is your maternal cousin. Because Pandavas, you will see, their mother Kunti was a sister of Vasudeva. So, Vasudev's son is Krishna, Vasudeva. So, you may think from mother's side we have a connection to Krishna as a maternal cousin. Don't think like that. He said, Yesha vai Bhagavan Sakshat Adyo Narayana Puman. He says that Yesha vai Bhagavan Sakshat. This personality in front of me is the Adi Narayana, he said. All other Narayanas come from him. He's the original. Adyo Narayana Puman, he says. So understand that he is the original Narayana, he says. So in this way, as I told you, Krishna contemplates on the desires of his devotees and fulfills them to see them happy. Actually, his idea was to make Bhishma happy by seeing the Pandavas. And his idea was also to benefit Yudhishthira to gain the knowledge from the great soul, Bhishma. And to make both the devotees mutually happy. The Pandavas, they had such a deep respect for Bhishma, they all just sat around him silently. They didn't speak a word. In front of the grandsire, they weren't sure. We have waged such a big war. Is Bhishma happy or not with us? But then when they saw Bhishma open his mouth, Bhishma actually told them that what you did was just. You established dharma and adharma should be finished. So then they became convinced. So at that time, see Bhishma very joyfully looking at Krishna, he's saying this famous verse. Sadeva Devo Bhagavan Pratikshatam Kalevaram Yavadidam Hinomyaham Prasannaha Saruna Lochanolasan Mukhambujo Dhyana Patas Chaturbhujaha. Read the translation. Yeah.
May my Lord, who is four-handed and whose beautifully decorated lotus face, with eyes as red as the rising sun, is smiling, kindly await me at that moment when I quit this material body.
Kalevara means body. Yavad idam hinomi aham. As I give up my material body, may that Bhagavan, who is the Bhagavan? Devadevo. He is the Tam Yeshwaranam Paramam Maheshwaram. Tam Daivatanam Paramam Chadaivatam. Patim Patinam Paramam Parastat. This is a Shruti mantra which says that amongst all the devatas there is one supreme. Like we say, Nitya Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bahunam. The Supreme Lord is separated as Eko. These are all Shruti mantras. Why am I quoting? Because sometimes in India people say, God and soul are one. Some people foolishly argue. But it says Eko Bahuna, Yo Vidadati Kaman. One maintains singular supreme, maintains plural subordinates. So that Bhagavan is Deva Deva. Pradikshanam. May he wait until I leave my body and let him not go away, he says, as I am giving up my body. And how does he look like? Prasanna Hasaruna Lochana Ullasan. His eyes are like, as he says here, red like the rising sun. And he is smiling beautifully. And he is very cheerful. Mukhambujo, his face is like a blue lotus with eyes like lotus petals. And he has come in Dhyana Pataschadrubujaha. He is revealing his 400 form to me beautifully because Prabhupada says in the purport here, the Vaishnava is not puffed up, although the Lord guarantees his pure devotee entrance into his abode. Here Bhishma says, as long as I do not quit this body, this means that the great general would quit the body by his own will. He was not being forced by the laws of nature, he says. He was so powerful that he could stay in his body as long as he desired. And then the fourth line here, you see, Prabhupada says, indirectly desired Lord Krishna to manifest himself in his 400 future because eternally he was related with the 400 form, Prabhupada says. The Vaikuntha Dham. He was approaching that Vaikuntha Dham very soon. See, below what Prabhupada says, a pure devotee is never very anxious to go back home to the kingdom of God. He entirely depends on the goodwill of the Lord. He is equally satisfied, even if Lord desires that he goes to hell. When Prabhupada was once in hippie land, that hippies came and told Prabhupada, we are very sorry to bring you to such a dirty place here. Hippies are unclean, they are into drugs and all kinds of things. Prabhupada said, this is Vaikuntha, he said, because all of you are chanting the holy name. So he saw Vaikuntha even in a hellish place because they were chanting the holy name. So Krishna arranged Prabhupada to come to a place like Bavari. Somebody may say, instead of giving him residence in Vrindavan, he sent him to Bavari. Is Lord not cruel to his pure devotee? What did Prabhupada answer? No. Because the pure devotee is eager to serve the Lord by going to even such abominable places like Bavari. Like Lord Shiva goes to Shmashan. Lord Shiva lives in graveyard where he wears the ashes all over his body. Because he goes there specifically to deliver the ghosts and spirits. In the Srimad Bhagavatam it is said, Lord Shiva towards the Nandi bull, in the evening time, twilight time, he roams around, carrying all the ghosts with him. They also go with him, wherever he goes. Because they think Shiva is our friend, he has come to our place and staying in the in the graveyard. But while going, if any husband and wife are uniting in the daylight, when the sun is up in the sky, Shiva will cast a ghost in their womb. In the womb of the lady as a punishment to their family. But for ghost it's not a punishment. For the ghost it's a boon. Why it's a boon? The ghost gets what body? Human body. For him it's a plus point. And for the family it is a minus point. Why? Because once this child is born, it will create enough trouble for the parents. Correct, no? So, in this way, like Shiva is living in a graveyard to deliver the ghosts, Prabhupada lived in Bavari to deliver the hippies. Similarly, devotee of the Lord doesn't mind where the Lord sends him. He says, wherever you put me, I am your servant. The only desire that a pure devotee entertains is that he may always be in a rapt attention with thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord, you see, regardless of where he is. That's a beautiful song, Manasa deho geho yo kichu mo atro tuva pade nanda kishore. Everybody together. Manasa deho geho yo kichu. Sampade vipade divane marane Taimane lasuva Opadavadane Sampade Taimane lasuva Opadavadane Maro Virakhodi Joy Takha Nitya Nath Prati Uva Adhika Maro Virakhodi Joy Takha Kita Dharma Tattvara Bhage Mukha Madana Bhage Mukha Kita Dharma Tattvara Bhage Mukha Madana Manasa Bhage Yudhisthira Attentive See, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is singing this song. He's saying, my body, my mind, my home, my family, my wealth, and everything I am offering at your lotus feet, Nanda Kishore is saying. And then he's saying, when I am wealthy, I will serve you. When I am poverty-stricken, I will still serve you. In rain and shine, I will serve you. When I have a job, I will serve you. When I am laid off, still I will serve you. When I get first rank in the class, I will serve you. When I fail in an exam, still I will not give up my chanting. When I am healthy, I will serve you. When I am sick, I will still serve you. Even if I am in an arrow bed, hundreds of arrows poking my back, still I will chant your glories. This is the nature of a pure devotee. Sampade vipade, jivane marane. Even if I die, then after death I will continue glorifying you in the next life. Life after life I will glorify you. That's the meaning of pure devotion service, you see. Marobi Rako. Like pure devotees sometimes are brought to brush with death. Like Ambarish Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Parikshit and all. No, tamashlokavartanam shitam tat katamritam syat sampramonta kalepi smaratam tat padam bhujam. This verse says, even when death comes very close, a devotee of the Lord is not afraid. A devotee thinks that my Lord is calling me now. He is ready to leave the body peacefully without any fear. See, a long story cut short, in Padma Purana there is one pastime. There was one thief, his name was Gulika. This fellow used to snatch people's wealth, beat up people, later on even killed people also. In that entire village, people became so horrified, people emptied the village. He had nobody to loot also. He became a highway robber. Nobody passed through that road. Then one day he was wondering, I have to go to some other place to loot the wealth. So, in search of places when he went to Koshala Desh, there is a place called Savira. So he arrived at that place. He entered the city, a lot of well-to-do people, wealthy people. He saw one huge pond. On four sides there were steps leading to the pond. And at the bank of that pond, there is a beautiful temple of Lord Vishnu. Big Gopuram. On the top of the Gopuram, he found a kalash in golden, shining. He thought how to climb up the Gopuram top. So I can loot the kalash, he was thinking. It was smooth and I will slide down and fall. How will I climb up, he was wondering. Then he thought, let me go inside the temple and see whether there is any wealth. So he came to the entrance of the temple and from there he saw there was no one. Probably it was 11 o'clock or something. So he arrived there and he saw Lord Vishnu, Lakshmi Narayan were standing. Lord Vishnu was so beautifully decorated with Kaustubha jewel and armlets and bracelets and mukut and kundal and all made of gold and silver. So this fellow became charmed. Oh, if I loot all this, it will be enough for my whole life now, he thought. But then the problem was, there was one Brahman called Uttanga Brahman sitting near the pillar of the temple. and studying the scriptures. He was the storehouse of austerities and penances and purity, and he was also very scholarly, great Vaishnava Brahman. He was very great, with great relish he was studying Bhagavatam. So, when this thief saw that between me and the Murti, there is only one person who can stop me, which is this Brahman. He may protest if I try to loot. So let me finish this Brahman and then take all the wealth and run away. He thought like that. He ran to the Brahman, knocked him down to ground, and he sat on his belly. And he removed his big knife to slit his throat. Can you imagine? If anybody is subjected to that, how much one will become frightened? How much one will be defensive to fight back, you can think. But this Vaishnava was such an exalted soul. He told this fellow thief, wait a minute, here are 2 shlokas before you kill me, he said. And then you can do whatever you want. And then he quoted one verse. Sujano nayati vairam parahita buddhir vinasha kalepi chedepi chandana taru mukham surabhayati kutharasya. He's saying, my dear thief, try to understand. Sujano nayati vairam. See, I am a follower of the path of Vaishnavas. Vaishnavas don't feel any enmity with any living entity. Sujano nayati vairam parahita buddhir vinasha kalepi. Even while dying also, the Vaishnavas are taught to always think of the welfare of others. Like Prahlad was subjected to so much assassination attempts by Hiranyakashipu, but he always prayed for the welfare of his father. Ambarish also was made assassination attempt by whom? Durvasa. Later on, by his prayer, Sudarshan spared Durvasa's life. He prayed for the welfare of Durvasa. That's what Durvasa himself says. Aho anantadasanam mahatam drishta madhyame kridagasopi yad rajan mangalani samir. I tried to kill you, Rajan, Ambarish, but you prayed for my protection. Just see, this is a Vaishnava, I said. So, he told the same thing. Sujano nayati vairam parahita buddhir vinasha kalepi. Even at the time of death, they think of welfare of others. And then he said, chedepi chandana taru mukham suraveti kutarasya means, if you take an axe and hit a sandalwood tree, it will render the tip of the axe fragrant. That's the nature of the sandalwood tree. And this is the way the path of Vaishnava is. At least understand, my dear thief, you may kill me, but after you kill me, you try to become a Vaishnava, don't waste your life. Neither he was preaching. Then one more verse he said, Mrigamena sajjananam trinajala santosha vihita vrittinam lubdakadi varapishuna nishkarana vairino jagati. He is saying that in this world there are 3 people who are very innocent people. One is the deer, one is the fish, one is the innocent Vaishnava. But even these innocent creatures have 3 enemies. For the fish, there is a fisherman. Unless fish is drinking water, water is abundantly available. But unfortunately, fisherman makes enmity with the fish and he catches it. Similarly, another one is a deer. Deer is eating some grass in the forest, there is abundant grass available. But a hunter targets the deer and tries to hit it, isn't it? From hiding, he tries to kill it. He becomes the enemy of the deer. Similarly, there are fault-finding critics who unnecessarily blaspheme Vaishnavas who are innocent and pure. So he said, in this way, there may be enemy for a Vaishnava, but Vaishnava never considers anybody his enemy, like that he said. Guess what happened? When this thief heard these 2 verses, immediately his hair stood on end and his body trembled in ecstasy and tears sprung from his eyes. And his teeth were chattering, he wanted to say something. And all the Ashtasattvikas are manifested in the body of the thief. At the time, an aeroplane came just outside the temple and it stood. And Vishnudutas came out with their bluish complexion bodies, with Mukut Kundal, Shankachakra Gadapadma, everything. And they came forward into the temple hall and said to Uttanga Brahman, Uttanga Brahman, this Gulika was a great devotee in the previous life. Due to some aparadas, he fell down to the body of a thief. Therefore, he became completely covered over, doing all atrocious, foolish activities. Now that you reminded him about the nature of a Vaishnava and nature of Lord Vishnu and his devotees, look at him now, he has become completely purified, washed off all his contamination. Now he has become eligible to return back to Vaikuntha. We are going to take him now. Hearing this, the Gulika was so thrilled. He picked up some flowers from the Vaikuntha airplane and showered it on the Uttanga Brahman and circumambulated him 3 times, fell at his feet and said, "Oh, Uttanga Brahman," kneeling down on his knees, he said, "You are my Guru." Just by one moment of association, that's why we say, Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hoy. In one moment you delivered me. I cannot believe my eyes. I repeatedly offer you millions of obeisances, praising him like this. Then he boarded the Vaikuntha airplane. Before leaving, Vishnudas told Uttanga Brahman that the world may wonder how Gulika got delivered and you didn't get delivered. You delivered him. How are you not taken back to Vaikuntha? They said, we want you to be here for some more time so that we can deliver many, many more Gulikas. At the time of your leaving the body, we will again come and pick you up, they said. So in this way, the nature of a Vaishnava is explained. Here you find Prabhupada is saying that although Bhishma is eager to go back to Godhead, he is a pure devotee. He left it to Krishna. It's your wish, my dear Lord, whatever you wish. So Krishna is a Dina Bandhu and Bhakta Vatsal. He knows the innermost desire of Bhishma. So he fulfilled it. And he touched his heart and soul by taking the Pandavas to him, as I told you. Bhaktya Veshyam Anoyasmyam Vachayan Nama Kirtayan Jadan Kalevaram Yogi Muchyate Kama Karma Vihi.
The personality of Godhead who appears in the mind of the devotee by attentive devotion and meditation, and by chanting of the holy name, releases the devotee from the bondage of fruitive activities at the time of his quitting the material body.
Yeah. You see, in the path of ISKCON devotees also, the activities that we all do are very simple, but they have to be done with great Shraddha. Like you will see the word Shinvata Shraddhaya Nityam Vrinatascha Sacheshtitam. Bhagavatam says the message of the Bhagavatam should be heard with great transcendental faith. So there are 2 doors we have to keep open. One is this door, ear door. Another one is heart door. The ear door should be open means what? If somebody during the class is attending to some mobile or replying some messages or something, then their attention goes away, the ear doors are closed, correct? No? They don't hear. Or for some people, they are hearing the sound, what is coming out from the speaker's mouth, but then the heart door is closed. What is the meaning of that? They say, I know this already, it's not a big thing. He keeps saying the same thing, they will say. They don't understand. Like one fellow came and asked me, Swamiji, today what is the katha? Monthly once I give one special katha, Krishna Rasayanam. I said, I'm going to speak on Krishna Sudama. He said, oh, that I already heard from my mother when I was a small kid. I said, hey, you heard as a small kid and what I am going to speak from Bhagavatam, is it the same? This is much more detailed presentation. So, genuine devotee will never get tired of hearing the pastimes over and over from multiple angles. So, therefore, like Chitraketu Maharaja, he welcomed Angira Muni, but his heart was not open because his whole attention was that I want to get a child. It was like that. One time, Gauranga Prabhu had gone to one temple for a 2-day, 3-day program. So the 3rd day happened to be this, Pandava Nirjala Ekadashi. So of course everybody fasts from water completely. So the next day morning, Gauranga Prabhu came to know the timing in which you can break. So he ran to the kitchen. And that boy in the kitchen saw Gauranga Prabhu, he was so happy. Prabhuji, can I take one selfie with you? He was asking. Gauranga said, is it the time for selfie? First you give me some water or some lemon juice or something, you give me, quickly bring it. Then this fellow ran and came back with chandan and for putting chandan to Prabhuji. Prabhuji said, hey, all this, ritual you can do later, give me something to drink. Then he again ran to deity room, brought a garland to put. Prabhuji said, what kind of respect is this? You do what I am asking you, he said. So, Gauranga Prabhu said, all this respect, I did not feel happy with all that. I wanted only one thing. What is it? Like the Chitraketu wanted a son. So Chitraketu's attention was only on that. Therefore he says, it's like a garland given to a hungry man. Like that he says, Chitraketu says. His instructions of Angirumani went like this and went like this. He didn't hear. So, we all have our own fixed desires in life. So, even when we do spiritual activities, our mind gets hooked into those fixed desires and hankerings and, attachments. And that is why here you will see that attentive devotion and meditation is said. The chanting actually should be done in a prayerful mood. And when the mind is wandering, one should pull it back to hear. One cannot casually chant or carelessly chant or chant on, they have this counter chanting or while driving a car chanting. One fellow was saying, Prabhuji, anyway my car is Tesla car, automatic car. So can I chant in my counter? That is in counter. So no, one has to chant on beads, one should sit in front of the Lord and peacefully chant. Attentively chant. If you really want to attract Krishna's attention. I asked this fellow, say Microsoft is calling you for an interview at 5 o'clock. What time you will reach? He said, I'll reach at 4 o'clock only, he said. 1 hour before. I said, will you be driving car and giving interview or sitting and giving interview? Something is important, you do it very nicely, right? Similarly, the chanting, meditation should be done very attentively. See, Krishna is mighty enough to perform all actions alone himself. Imagine, the whole Mahabharata war, Krishna would have finished on the very first day. I was thinking if I was in Krishna's place, when Arjuna lamented, putting his bow down, what I would have done? I would have told Arjuna, okay, you are weeping now, take on another chariot and return back. Go and relax now. Give your bow and arrow, I will take care. Correct? No, any of us would do that. For Krishna, he doesn't need bow and arrow also. He can just take the chakra and release it. And Mahabharata will be only one page only. The first day, Arjuna didn't cooperate, so Krishna finished everybody. Correct, no? But Krishna can do all activities alone. But he becomes subordinate to his devotees like Arjuna. You can see his Arjuna is telling, Senyor Abhiyor Madhya Ratam Stapayame, Achyuta. Hey, Achyuta Krishna, take my chariot between two armies. He's taking between two armies. So why is he doing this, becoming subordinate to his devotees? Then only there is a possibility of exchange of love with his devotees. Yeah. And he performs pastimes with devotees to delight in their company. Somebody was asking me, Prabhuji, anyway, Krishna's goal is to kill Kamsa. Now on the day when he was born in the Kamsa's jail, let Kamsa come to the jail and there only he can finish him. Why to go to Vrindavan and so much time he spent and later on come and finish Kamsa. I told him, see, if he finished Kamsa, then who will send all the demons to Vrindavan? If no demons are sent, then how can Putana, Shakatasur, Bakasur, Agasur, all the pastimes we can hear, 21 demons. How will we hear them? And if those demons didn't come to Vrindavan, how will we come to know the glory of the Vajabasis? And Yashoda, Nanda, correct, no? Covered boys, covered girls, how will you come to know? Not only that, the 5 rasas were exchanged by Krishna so wonderfully in Vrindavan. All that you would have missed if he killed Kamsa right here and now. Correct, no? So, the Lord is not coming in this world just to kill demons and go back. That's a side activity. His main activity is to exchange love with his devotees. Anugrahaya bhaktanam deham manushyam astitah bhajate tadrishi krida ya shrutva tatparo bhavet. You know what this verse says? Anugrahaya bhaktanam. When Krishna sees his devotees, he feels pity for them. Look at my Arjuna, Pandavas. How can I let them struggle in the battlefield all alone? I will go and become their charioteer, as Parthsarathi, and I will assist. And this was noticed by Bhishma. Bhishma said, wow, just see how Krishna is attentive to protect his devotee like a mother protecting a child or eyelids protecting the eyes. I am confident that if I become Krishna's devotee, he will protect me also like this. He developed that confidence and joy Bhishma felt. So, here you can see Krishna is always surrounded by his devotees, like the moon surrounded by stars. Now the Pandavas are giving a send-off to Krishna. He's going to go to Dwaraka now. And he's a very powerful reciprocator of love with everybody. And in that arrow bed, when he was lying down, he was remembering the battlefield scene. This is one thing very amazing about Bhishma. See, in the battlefield, heads are flying. People's heads are flying, people are being killed also. There he is exchanging love with the Lord. Can you imagine? Is it a place for exchanging love? Battlefield? But he is able to exchange the Virya Rasa. I wasn't aware of this before I came to Krishna consciousness movement. I always used to wonder, Bhishma is such a good soul. Why did he remain on Kaurava's side? He could have come to the Pandava's side. I used to always think like that. Later on, I read in Kunti Maharani's one of the purports Prabhupada writes that sometimes the king appoints a wrestler and he does kushti with the wrestler. He punches wrestler and wrestler punches him and all the queens are laughing and the ministers are watching also. So the wrestler is a paid employee by the king. He is not enemy of the king. But he punches the king just to give pleasure to the king. Similarly, Krishna brings his own devotees like Bhishma and tells Bhishma that you be on the Kaurava's side and I'll be on Pandava's side. Naturally, Bhishma must have told, my dear Lord, I am your devotee. Why are you putting me on the opposite side? Put me with Pandava's devotees. But Lord might have told him that, you see, I want you on the other side so we both can enjoy the stunt scene. Like in a movie, there is comedy, there is tragedy, there is romance, then there is also stunt action movie, correct? No? Recently, that is why this Maha Narsinga Avatar movie became so famous. What action that Narsimha showed, correct? No? And the children watched it many, many times. Some children went, whole school went in Hyderabad, 2,000 children went. Whole school, teacher, principal, school, everybody occupied the theatres. Pune also, all our entire congregation occupied the whole theatre. How many of you have seen that movie? Yeah, here also, correct? No? Yeah. And there's a double advantage in that movie. One is children are fond of action movie, and that action movie is about the Supreme Lord and the devotee. That's the best thing. Now I heard that next they are going to take Parashuram now. There will be even more big action, isn't it? So they are going to come up with the Dashavataras like that, one by one. So in this way, Lord and the devotee you are seeing in the picture, when Bhishma saw, at one time Bhishma was sending volleys of arrows to attack Arjuna. No? There is a background to this. I'll tell you, I'll cut it short and tell you. The previous day, when Bhishma came back from the war, Duryodhana criticized him. He said, Pitama, you always have a soft corner for the Pandavas. It seems that you are lenient with them while fighting. That is why they are overpowering us. And Bhishma became very upset. He said, what are you talking, Duryodhana? You see, the Pandavas are all Dharmaparayan. They follow the path of Dharma and they are guided by the father of Dharma, Krishna. How do you think any of us can finish them? But because you are doubting me and you are criticizing me, because Duryodhana said, if you are not going to fight well, better you get down, I'll put Karna, he said. So that made Bhishma become very upset. So Bhishma immediately took out 5 arrows from his quiver, meditated and chanted a mantra. He told, with this shining 5 arrows, tomorrow I will finish 5 Pandavas. And then he said, provided Krishna does not break his vow. He had mentioned that. And Duryodhana became so happy. I just teased Bhishma and now he has taken a vow to kill 5 Pandavas tomorrow. Great. He said, Pitama, give those 5 arrows, I'll keep with me. And he wrapped in a velvet cloth and he was about to go to sleep. At that time, Arjuna was already in the bed, lying down. Krishna went and woke him up. Arjuna, this is no time to sleep. That is a great danger that awaits all of you tomorrow. Immediately board your horse, go to the other side, fetch those 5 arrows from Duryodhana and bring it. So Arjuna went there. In those days, it was like a football match or like a baseball game. In the evening time, players can meet with each other. Even enemies also would meet. It's like a war was like that. So when Arjuna went, the soldiers moved aside. Arjuna's horse went in. And then when Duryodhana was about to sleep, he asked Arjuna, Arjuna, what brings you here? You want your kingdom in charity? If you are begging me, I will give you, he said. Arjuna said, what are you talking? I am not a beggar. We will fight it out in a righteous way and we will take it. But for now, I will tell you, do you remember you are supposed to give me a boon after I saved you from the Gandharvas. Huh? Duryodhana said, yes, I remember. For that, I have come here now. Give me those 5 arrows, he said. Duryodhana was shocked. Huh? So he took out and gave it to him. When Arjuna boarded the horse, was about to leave, Duryodhana asked him, please tell me, how did you know about these 5 arrows? He said, who else will know about it except Lord Krishna? Huh? He said. So Duryodhana returned back to his bed. He thought, maybe Krishna is God, he said. Huh? And then he offered one obeisance to Krishna also. Duryodhana. Huh? So now Bhishma Pitamaha was told by Duryodhana that my 5 arrows are gone. Huh? Plus, next day in the battle, Bhishma became fierce and he sent volleys of arrows to knock down Arjuna. Arjuna's horses were knocked down, chariot was knocked down, Arjuna was thrown off from the chariot. And at that time, Krishna couldn't tolerate any more. Huh? He thought that my devotee is in danger. You see, he picked up a wheel in his hand, it's called Rathangapani. And he started running towards Bhishma while Arjuna caught hold of his feet. Huh? At that time, Bhishma was watching this beautiful sight of Lord Krishna's perspiration on his face, and his hair disheveled, and his Angavastra falling off, and not caring for his vow. Although he said, I will never lift any weapon, he ran towards Bhishma. And seeing this, Bhishma became thrilled in Virya Rasa. He felt the greatest ecstasy. He says that, I wanted to see you in this form. Just like for Yashoda, the pranks of baby Krishna are very attractive. Similarly, for the friends of Krishna, the naughty behavior of stealing butter, that's very attractive for the friends. They cooperate with Krishna in doing that. Similarly, for someone in Virya Rasa, this sight is very attractive for Bhishma. So in this way, Bhishma, while lying down, he is remembering. The last part of Bhishma in his prayer is saying, Shri Bhishma Vavacha Itimati Rupakalpita Vitrishna Bhagavati Satvata Pungave Vibhumni Swasukam Upagate Kvachit Vihartum Prakritim Upeyushi Yad Bhava Prabhaha.
Bhishma said, let me now invest my thinking, feeling, and willing, which were so long engaged in different subjects and occupational duties, in the all-powerful Shri Krishna. He is always self-satisfied, but sometimes, being the leader of devotees, he enjoys transcendental pleasure by descending to the material world, although it is from him only that the material world is created.
Yeah. So Krishna also comes into the jail of the material world to exchange love with his devotees. See, Prabhupada is saying here, Bhishma was a statesman, head of the Guru dynasty, and mind was strewn with so many Rajadharma and all the subjects. But now, in order to achieve pure devotional service, he wanted to invest all the powers of thinking, feeling, willing entirely in the Supreme Being, Lord Krishna. Even all of us, as we proceed from the age of 25 to 50, you will see that, at the age of 25, 26, 27, you get married. By the age of 50, your children are grown up. They'll be like 18 or 20. So, at 60, they do one Shashti Abda Purti. You know that? So, my elder sister was having a Shashti Abda Purti in Bangalore. So, she called me on Zoom to come and speak something on Zoom for her and her husband. At that time, I thought, let me gather some information. So, when I was searching, I saw one interesting statement. It says that between 25 to 60, your life is like a Ugra Ratha. Because it's like husband and wife are boarding the chariot. Solve this problem, solve that problem. Both, it's like that Ugra Ratha. And then at the age of 60, they do the second marriage, it is said. The first marriage is for boarding the chariot and taking responsibility. And the second marriage at the age of 60 is called as Ugra Ratha Shanti. That means what? Shanti means now it's a marriage for giving up responsibility to children. Hand over your responsibility to sons and daughters. You tell them that now the household kingship, queenship will be done by, daughter-in-law and the son, hand over. Then, okay, after handing over, what are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to sleep? No. you begin a new career in spiritual life. After 60. That's what it says. The first marriage is for taking responsibility, and the Shashti of devotee is for giving up the material responsibility. Detached from material life and attached to Krishna. Take more serious. That's what he says. Now, in order to achieve pure devotional service, you want to invest all powers of thinking, feeling, willing entirely in Supreme Being. Prabhupada says in one purport, if any Grihastha devotee 20 years wholeheartedly serves with no other occupation, you take Krishna consciousness as your main occupation, he says one can go back to Godhead. He says, like a brahmacharis join at the age of 25, and till 70, 75 they can, 70, whatever age they live, they will do that. And Grihasthas, some of the Grihasthas are able to very smartly adjust their material life in such a way that even as a Grihastha, they are doing more than sannyasis also. Prabhupada says in one place. Prabhupada told one couple, you are serving like, a dozen sannyasis put together, you are doing so much service. But not all Grihasthas can do that. But if any Grihastha feels that my life is so busy, so many material occupations are, occupying my mind, even during chanting, what to do? Then when you are retiring, like 45, 50, 55 onwards, some people take VRS, and then VRS is not a very important thing. More than taking VRS, one should have sufficient spiritual engagement. Therefore, one should not suddenly give up. Gradually increase the spiritual engagements to such a degree that you don't feel any need for material engagement. Fully one can, study, preach, distribute books, do Harinam Sankirtan, distribute prasad, develop a preaching program, make many devotees, train the devotees, online, offline, all kinds of preaching, everything you can do, worship the deity, dress the deity, so many things. So in Pune we have started 2 groups, one is called as BVS, we call it. It's called Bhakti Vedanta Vanaprastha Sangha. So in that we have Advaita Acharya Sangha and Srivas Thakur Sangha. Advaita Acharya Sangha is 60 to 80 and Srivas Thakur Sangha is 45 to 60. Similarly for Matajis, that is Malini Sangha, that is 45 to 60. And 60 to 80 Matajis is Sita Thakurani Sangha we have. So we have made like these groups. In the senior one, we have 90 people in that. And the junior one, we have 60 people. So we have started training once in 3 months. We have 3-day retreat for them. We take them out, exclusive attention to them. And also, every week, Wednesday, we have a couple of hours class for them. So all the Vanaprasthas have got solid network now. They have got a lot of friends now. We have put them into 5, 5, 6, 6 of them. They are in their own circle. So people at home are wondering, hey, you go to temple, you never come back till night. Morning they go and evening, because they have their friends now. So in our Pune NVCC temple, any given day you come and see 30 to 40 Vanaprasthas will be doing all activities there. So in this way, that's what he is saying. In order to achieve pure devotional service, he wanted to invest all powers of thinking, feeling, willing entirely in Supreme Being Lord Krishna. He is described herein as the leader of the devotees and all powerful. Although Lord Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, he himself descends to earth to bestow upon his pure devotees the boon of devotional service. You see? So then Prabhupada says, the Lord is the chief amongst all the Sadhutas. Bhishma Deva had no other desire, completely free of all material desires. Unless, Prabhupada says here, unless one is purified from all sorts of material desires, the Lord does not become one's leader. Desires cannot be wiped out, but they have only to be purified. It is Lord, it's confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita that he gives his instruction from within the heart of a pure devotee. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayantite. I give instruction to pure devotees how to come back to me. He doesn't give instruction for material purpose, but for going back to Godhead. But non-devotees don't get such instructions, Prabhupada says. Only a devotee gets. So we have to become such a class devotee that Lord will speak to us from our heart and give us a clue on how to return back to Him. So, in this way, this purport I have written, but you can, this first number, this Bhishma's first prayer, you can read this purport, very beautiful purport. See, Prabhupada says in one lecture I heard, if Krishna wanted to kill Bhishma, he would have released the chakra as he released chakra for killing Shishupal. Whereas here his intention was not to kill Bhishma, but to make a display of anger. So he just took a wheel. Nobody takes a wheel and kills somebody. Isn't it? That's what Prabhupada says. Krishna broke his promise by lifting the wheel of chariot. It was like a lover running towards the beloved. Like that he ran. Prabhupada says that. It was Bhishma's desire to see Krishna like this, like a Ratangapani. Yeah. And Krishna shows extra favor to his devotees. Bhishma is telling that Supreme Lord is equal to everyone. Since I am his unflinching servitor, he has graciously appeared before me, now at the time of death, like that he says. So, this is a section of his final prayer. We will recite this one verse and conclude, okay? Tribhuvana kamanam tamala varnam Ravikara gauravaram varam dadhane Vapuralaka kulak pratana nabjam Vijaya sake ratirastu mena vadya. So, who can lie in an arrow bed like this and sing a poem? Unless one is a pure devotee whose heart is dancing in ecstasy. So, he is saying that this Lord Krishna is attractive to all the three worlds, and his bodily color is like a tamal tree, and his pitambar is shining like dazzling sunlight. And he has curly locks of blackish hair. So, and he is Vijay Sakha, he is a friend of Arjuna. He is saying that, Bhishma is not able to give up that sweetness. Again and again he describes more details about Krishna in the battlefield. So, and these are all the prayers of Bhishma, very, very beautiful. We can't complete this, it's a 3-hour chapter. If you are doing it in Bhakti Vaibhava, it will take 2 full classes, 3 plus 3 hours it will take you. But I took some sections to catch some lessons. One of the vital lessons is, at the time of our leaving the body, our mati or our consciousness should be iti mati rupa kalpita vitrishna. Vitrishna means hankerings. Yesterday I was giving a program in that college, University of Texas, in that turtle pond near that I was giving for students. So there was one girl was asking a question, what do we do with our burning desires? We see that we are always desiring this, I want this big car, I want this bungalow, I want this. Our desires are going on multiplying. Where is the end to these desires? So I was telling that there are 5 P's that pinch us in this world. The first P is the famous P. What is it? Penny. Penny means money, money, money. Money is honey. That is a penny. People, no matter how much money you bring, it looks like it's less. It's like pouring water in a basket. It keeps on getting empty. So that is penny, love for penny. Then second is pleasures. Pleasures with the eyes, with the ears, with the nose, with the tongue and skin. Tongue and the skin, Shabda sparsha rasarupa gandha, pleasures, material pleasures. And third is the possessions. People like to possess things. I want to possess a certain type of car, certain type of bungalow, certain type of model, mobile and everything. And positions. Position means like post or position. Like, you want a highly prestigious job which demands you 16 hours a day, and it drains your energy, no time for family, no time for God. Or you want a mediocre job which pays you reasonably well, but affords you time for family and God, So people are, when I ask this question in a class, people say, Prabhuji, I need some time to decide, he's saying. That means people are unable to decide very confidently that, even an average job which gives me time for these things is wonderful. They will not say that, because you will see that possessions, and last one is the people. People are attached to people also, like a man for a woman for a man, or people want to connect with very big shots and take a photo with them. It's called the pride of association, we call it. So these 5 P's, penny, pleasure, position, possession, people. These are all material desires. So we have to transform this material desire into spiritual desire. So when wealth is earned to serve the Supreme Lord, and when positions are accepted only for serving Krishna, everything is used in Krishna service. And also we connect with people who are Krishna conscious. Sayeva sadhushu kruto mokshadvaram apavritam. It is said, by attachment to saintly persons, you get liberated. Just like you take an iron ring and you take a wood like this. Throw the wood in water, it will float. Put iron ring in water, it drowns. But if you put iron ring inside the wood like this and you throw it, what happens? Will it float or drown? See, you take a wooden stick, put in water, it floats. Put iron ring, it drowns. But if you put iron ring over that and you throw it in water, what will happen? It floats. You'll see that. Huh? So, the iron ring is conditioned soul and the wooden stick is liberated soul. If conditioned soul becomes attached to the liberated soul, he also floats in bliss. So, the Bhishma section teaches us that one should become vitrishna. Our trishnas go away by developing attachment for Krishna. And that is what we see in Bhishma. He was least attracted to anything of this world except Krishna. He gave his heart, mind, soul, and his prayers are revealing that. So it's a very, very beautiful section. Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki. I can take 5 minutes questions, I can take.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, you mentioned about how the lotus flower is detached from the altar.
Correct.
Likewise, we should be detached from our material duties. But
actually, I didn't say you should be detached from material duties. See, Krishna never told Arjuna, Arjuna, I am there riding the chariot, you can go to sleep in the chariot. He didn't say that. He said you should take initiative. And you should do it, but your eyes should not be focused on the results. Your eyes should be focused on your duty. For example, a boy is preparing for an examination. See, is he the paper setter, question paper setter? He is not. Is he the results awarder? He is not. Then why worry about it? That's what everybody worries about. How the question paper is going to be, what the results are going to be. He says, nullify those anxieties which are not in your hands. It's in teacher's hands. You have only one thing in your hand, which is to study well. Focus on that. Do your duty and relax. And the detachment that we are talking about is what? See, detachment means seeing that everything in this world should be connected to Krishna. That is true detachment. Like a man sees my wife and my children are sent by Krishna to me and they are put in my custody. I should go back to Godhead, I should take them back to Godhead. That should be his consciousness. So let me keep the home like a temple. Let me inspire them to engage in such activities which will bring them closer to Krishna, rather than go far away. So, like one couple I saw in India, in one of the cities in my travel, they had come to my class. After the class, I met both of them, husband and wife. Now, wife has done MA Sanskrit, husband has done MA Hindi, and they work in the same school. And this is ISKCON temple. He said their home is here. 2 minutes walk, ISKCON temple is there. 2 minutes walk, school this side. So they live very nearby. In India, at the time they were only earning 24,000 rupees salary, husband, and then wife is also getting another 24,000. Both of them, less than 50,000 they are earning. But they are very happy people. Because they said we don't have any expenditure. We go to ISKCON temple, so many programs, we keep getting prasad also regularly. And we go to the school. In school also, he has a cabin. Only 3 periods he takes in a day. Other times he reads Leelamrita peacefully. Sitting in the school, and morning they go at 9, 4 o'clock they are back in the evening. So they have ample of time, very satisfied. See, when a person is satisfied, the mind is not agitated. So, husband, wife, they are not materially so much mad after just money making. Very happy devotee family. And they are saving the monthly earnings very nicely, not wasting the money. Cut costs, save money, give charity, and be focused in spiritual life. Because those who give charity will get the sadbuddhi. Those who don't give charity, they make a lot of money and spend lavishly. Correct, no? So giving charity and cutting materialistic expenses like unnecessarily lavish spending should be cut, and money should be saved. In this way those who do, and then we don't have to impress any. If you want to impress anybody in this world, that you'll have to spend a lot of money. Like, if you want to cover your body, getting a cloth is not very costly. But you want branded clothes to show off, very costly. Correct, no? Same thing with everything in this world. Whether it's a car, whether it's a cloth, whether it's a house, whether it is As soon as the desire to show off comes, lot of expenditure, correct now? So that is what we are talking about detachment. Detachment means see everything in relation to Krishna. Is that clear?
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Just a technical question. So you mentioned that when Krishna was there in the Purification, he all of them went back home.
Correct. Two shlokas say that.
Yeah, so did Duryodhana and Karna also?
All of them, yeah. Actually, when you see Duryodhana, Karna, all these people, what we should see, this is like a circus troupe, you know. A circus troupe comes to a city. They put the tent, all of them play the role. There are also animals, there are also men, there are women. And 20, 30 days they will be there. After that, they wind up the circus and go to another place. Similarly, Krishna comes with the whole entourage. And he performs Mahabharata, then Leela and Vrindavan, Mathura, Dwaraka, everything. Then winds it up and goes to next universe. Just like a sun you will see in the morning, it's rising here, when it is setting, it's not that sun is dead. Sun is going to disappear from this, our eyesight, but it is going to rise in another place. Like the Krishna leaves this universe and goes to another universe, which is entire entourage. Actually, Duryodhana's original name was Suyodhan only. Suyodhan came to be called as Duryodhan by dint of his actions. So Lord has both heroes and villains in his entourage, both types of people. They all are considered as Lord's associates ultimately. Correct, no? You see, why we don't talk about that much, I will tell you. Say, for example, if there is a Ramayana drama going on the stage, Mantra is, speaking to Kaikeyi in such a way that she is twisting her brain, isn't it? But in the green room, if you go, you will see Bharat and Mantra and Ram, they will all be sitting and taking some ginger tea or something, you know. But once they come on the stage, they behave differently. Correct, no? So, in the same manner, Lord's entourage, everybody is special. Nobody, they all have come from the spiritual world along with the Lord. Correct, no? Thank you. Yeah. Yes, we can announce, yeah. Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Radheshyam, for such a wonderful class. There were so many amazing takeaways from the class. I love the point about not isolating ourselves, but insulating ourselves from what we see. I think that is such a relevant point for today in the world that we live in. And the lamentation point was so beautiful that when devotees lament, something amazing comes out of it. I was reflecting on that how even Valmiki's lamentation resulted
Ramayana.
in Ramayana.
Yeah,
So I had never thought of it that way. So now I want to read Srimad Bhagavatam wherever people lament. Because then I'm sure right after lamentation something beautiful is going to happen. So thank you so much, Radheshyam. Let us loudly chant the Maha Mantra. Let's express our gratitude to Radheshyam for this wonderful class today. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.